Hey guys, thank you for joining us here, 619 Muscle TV, another episode of our training series. I'm here today with top NPC national level competitors, Sarah and Emily. These guys both have been to the nationals before, and they both have overall wins under their belt. Sarah's got multiple overall wins under her belt, so we're really proud to have them here with us today. They're both getting ready actually for next year's competition series. So we're in a building phase for both of them. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna focus on posterior chain lower body training, glutes and hamstrings, and a little bit of shaping quads, adductors, and everything else that goes below the waist. Because whether you're in figure, whether you're in wellness or bikini, or you wanna look good at the pool or the barbecue on the weekends or the beach, lower body is important for everybody, female guys too. But here today we're gonna focus on specifically glutes, hamstrings, posterior chain training, with some intensifying techniques thrown in there. So if your lower body training is not as productive as you want to be, this is something maybe gives you some ideas so we can jack up that productivity and really build that lower body backside. All right, we're going to start today with kickbacks. The kickbacks with a straight leg, very slight rotation of the femur. As you'll see these guys demonstrate, it's going to isolate overall glute media specification. What we're doing with this is we're going to pre-exhaust the glutes specifically so that when we bring in more compound movements later on in the workout, you'll find that the glutes are already pre-fatigued. The pre-exhaust or pre-fatigue strategy allows you to focus more emphasis of the total productivity of the training on that specific target muscle. So that way, by the time you're done with everything, you focus on the areas you want to emphasize.
Hi guys, so today we're going to be doing standing cable hip abduction. So anytime that you're bringing anything, any limb, whether it's the arm or the leg, and it's going away from the body, it's abduction, so abduction. So in this case, we're going to attach the cable to the working leg right here. And since we want to target this outer glute, opposite leg is going to stabilize here. You're going to position the working leg directly lateral to the stabilizing leg, rotate the toe out. What that does is it externally rotates the femur and engages the hip abductors. So if you watch my form here, I start with my foot straight and I slightly rotate the toe out, and you can already start to see my glute medius start to engage. Okay, so from this position, I'm going to maintain tension in the cable the entire time, drive my heel back while keeping my leg straight, squeezing my glute at the top. Hold for at least 2 seconds. Okay, so concentric phase, coming up here, holding for 2 at the top, letting the cable slowly come back down while maintaining tension, feeling the stretch of the glute at the bottom, eccentric phase, concentric phase, squeeze at the top. Coming down right here, keeping the core nice and tight, chin, neutral position, coming down, stretch at the bottom, squeeze at the top. Okay, so as you can tell that this range of motion is fairly short, so I'm not arching my low back, nor am I doing some kind of donkey kick, funky chicken motion. So I'm here, I'm not gonna do one of these numbers, okay? All right, obviously I'm exaggerating, but I don't wanna hyperextend my lower back or my cervical spine. So I'm here, maintaining a tight core the entire time, squeezing at the top. Nice and slow stretch at the bottom and squeeze.
What we want to do on this is we want to do somewhere around 15 repetitions or a little bit higher. They don't have to be super heavy, but we want to get enough in there to build fatigue so that when we bring in the rest of the exercises, the glutes are already smoked. Awesome. Okay guys, what we're doing next is we're going to do a tricep. This is a way to bring up a little bit more intensity because we're minimizing the rest period between each exercise. We've come over from our kickbacks with a cable, so we pre-exhausted the glutes. Now we're going to move on into a superset between single leg press with your foot placed high on the leg press. Feet are going to be straight up and down or 1 foot at a time. Pressure through the heel. That's going to put a lot of the stress through the posterior chain. This is great for hamstring tie-ins, what they call the tie-ins. That's actually the hamstrings moving underneath the glutes and the bottom of the glutes as they come down and tie into the femur. This gives you that shape, and this is what's really important for a contest. We're gonna do 15 to 20 of these, single leg, Try to push through that heel, keep the foot a little higher on the plate. When you push through that heel with the feet higher up towards your head, you're actually isolating more the back side of the muscle. You want to keep the back always pressed against the pad, but you want to drive through that heel. That's going to isolate that hamstring more than the quad. We're going to superset this with RDLs, and then we'll bring in our lying leg curl with a pause at the top. We'll talk about that as we get there. We're doing this with our toes elevated. Hitting the RDLs with your elevated toes gives you a little bit more stretch through the hamstring. We want to keep the knees straight but not locked, so we keep the knees safe. We want to keep the weight directly over the feet, over the center of gravity. Come up and squeeze the glutes when you come up. Thrust through just a little bit. That will put some activation in the glute. Drop the hips back and bring them up. You see that the weight never travels in front of the toes. Drop the glutes back. You'll keep the stretch in the hamstring coming up, squeezing through the glutes. We'll keep that whole posterior chain activated. Now we'll move over to the third exercise in our tricep for posterior chain, lying leg curl. Emily's got some super strong hamstrings, and you can see them engage. You want to keep the knees off of the edge of the pad so that you don't put any pressure on that joint. Full range of motion. What you want to do is make sure that you keep the ankles flexed so the toes are actually flexed upward, and that's going to keep the calves inactivated. So that way you're not cramping the calves. We're putting maximum stimulation through the hamstrings. Okay, our final exercise in this posterior chain focused lower body training session is our standard hip thrust. We're going to do it with a band. The band adds a little bit more glute med and piriformis involvement and stimulation while we're pushing through hip thrust. Now the glutes have already got a lot of pre-exhaustion from the previous exercises and fatigue. So the girls are very strong in this exercise by doing it at the end with the band after exhausting the posterior chain directly and in the compound movement of the leg press with a high foot position. This compound movement is going to be very, very powerful in putting a lot of stimulation into the backside. Awesome work. Posterior chain focused leg training with two of San Diego's finest athletes, Team 619 Muscle. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to like and follow and subscribe. Share the video with your friends if you find it valuable. And also comment on it, hit us up, let us know if there's anything else that you'd like to see or you'd be interested in following us along. Emily's probably about 1 year out, growing and making crazy changes, always in shape. Sarah's 17 weeks out from Masters USA. It's going to be some exciting stuff. Be sure to follow both of these guys. Their Instagram handles will be in the information below. And then we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in. 619 Muscle TV at the Human Elite.